close. I'm close.
I do.
So, but when I first started in real estate, and I remember thinking like, listen, I'm a nice person. I was like, I'm not going to be that hard ass negotiator. Like, that's just not natural to me. And I remember really struggling with that and being like, ugh, like I hated negotiations. And then it got to the point where I just understood that it was like, okay, what's the goal? Okay, like what's the goal for my client? And I took emotion out of it. Like, here's my objective, and that's my mission, and that's what I'm going to aim towards, regardless of how I feel, regardless of the crazy ask that my client is making, and regardless of how the other agent responds and starts screaming and shouting, whatever. I don't care. Like, my goal is to do this and to inch my client towards that goal, right?
Sure.
And so whenever I use aggression, I don't use it all the time. I don't lead with that. I use it whenever I'm fair, I'm assertive. I will say, here's the line. And I mean it when I say, here's the line, because my client has set forth that line. But when I use aggression, it's very much intentional. It's usually when an agent is acting a fool, and I'm like, then at that point, I need to show you who's really in charge here. And that's really the only time I need to use it, because I also understand that I think that I catch more bees with honey. What is it? More flies with honey? Is that the expression? Because I'm ESL.
It's more flies.
No.
It's more flies.
More flies
You don't
with
catch
honey.
some with some honey.
There you go. There you go.
I'm ESO too.
Yeah, see, there you go. I don't get the colloquialisms like we do. But my point being is that, so if you're just aggressive and it's just aggression, it's too much, in my opinion. It's not always mandated, I guess, is my point.
No, to your point, I actually lead with ethos. So it's through emotion.
But you know what? You also mentioned, like, but as soon as you're starting to negotiate, you're building rapport.
Yeah.
So you're making it work. You're not aggressive the entire time.
Never.
No, that's what I thought.
I lead with aggression.
I'm sure you do. I couldn't tell, Nate. I couldn't tell. Take it down a notch.
But listen, I do lead with aggression, but never disrespect, and never, where I'm just beating you, berating you.
But you don't need it. You realize you're like 6 foot tall and you're a scary looking guy.
On the phone or on an email.
And
you know what? Honestly, I'm like you said, I'm ESL. Actually, ChatGPT has really helped me step up.
Hey, hold on. Make this sound a little friendlier and less aggressive, right?
Yeah. And the spelling too, because honestly, I used to lose a lot of respect with my spelling. Whenever I started doing this, I would like email like a realtor, and they would like, they just knew that I was just like, they thought not you were educated or whatever, right? In their opinion, right? Because I was misspelled. And then when iPhone came out, it was crazy because I used to have you had the Spanish keyboard on there.
Yeah, I did too.
The Spanish keyboard, I had to take it off. The Spanish keyboard.
You can change it, right?
The Spanish keyboard will make you, I forget sometimes, and I'm just going crazy and sending messages, and it
misspells.
It will
misspell
all your stuff.
It really
so
does.
people would get mad at me and be like, hey, you didn't do this. You didn't. I said, it's a Spanish keyboard. And Vic was always making fun of me, saying, yeah, right. Vic,
it is a Spanish. It will do it to you.
Vic has his degree.
Where did you get your degree from?
No, I did not have my
degree.
degree.
You didn't? It's okay.
I am educated. I graduated high school early, got a full academic scholarship. I was in the math team. I had some fun. I'd say I went to college and I got in a fight over a marketing class.
Oh, he is aggressive, huh?
And I said, you know what? I called my mom and I was like, I know that I told you I was going to graduate, but I need to go work on my business. This isn't it. I was like, they don't know what's going on in there.
I love that you recognize that at an early age. I wish I would have done. I really wish. See, I just said it. I wish I would have done that.
I wish.
I would have done that.
That's mine's.
Yeah.
I wanted him to stay in school because he would come out and he would come work with me and he would be like hey, your process that you do with this is called XYZ, and I'm like, I didn't know that sales process had a name. So he was just like naming all these things for us, but he ended up just working together. We started working together, and I would always give him a hard time about going back to school. But then I remember when his friends started graduating, and they started coming back from school, and it was like they had no life skills.
No.
And they were like, I want to work with Vic because Vic. So we hired a few of his degreed guys, and they couldn't cut it.
I'm telling you, as a real estate agent, like I really hate that we get I guess like compared to like car salesmen, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like we do so much more. We do counseling. We sit down, we meet with them, and like we're really helping them work towards a life goal, and we're changing people's and families' lives. And so I hate when people are like, I kid you not, when I have a client who like maybe it's a referral or someone who is like trying to assert their dominance, and they're like, you just want to sell me a house. And I was like, actually, I could care less. I don't care if you buy a house from me 6 months from now, 9 months from now. I was like, I have so much referral business that like, and I do that just to be like, no, not really. As a matter of fact, you're lucky if I even take you as a client. On to the next. But I'm serious because I'm the same way. Yeah. Imagine getting that from like a little 4'11" little Latina though. So they don't expect it because I'm like, I don't have to deal with all of this. We're literally here to help you. I'm not that agent who's going to come in and screw you and it's just here for the paycheck. Obviously the money's nice. That's great. But I think to me, the most fulfilling transactions are the people who are like, man, you know that them buying this first house and getting all of this equity in this home, like it's going to be a game changer for their family and their kids are going to see their parents achieved it. And so now it's something that they know that they can achieve, you know?
Let me get your opinion on something real quick, okay? Just from a female that you actually come from kind of the same background I come from, right?
A lot, yeah.
How do you feel whenever realtors say, "Oh, I helped 10 families this, month get into houses"? Like, how does that make you feel, or what do you think about people?
Hold on, I'm gonna leave this. How does that make you feel first?
No, hold on. I want to hear you. I want to hear you. I want to hear your opinion. Go ahead.
I don't really care. I don't.
She said, "Do whatever you do. I don't care."
I don't really care. Like, good for you. Here's the thing. I have the same opinion of that as I have of people who are like, I sold $20 million this year. My highest year, I sold $20 million. Nobody knew it. Nobody knew it.
Really?
Yeah. Swear to God, nobody knew it. Nobody knew it because I was like, a part of me, like if you're an agent, I really just don't put that much thought into it. But that's how I feel about a lot of things. And it's because I can't control any other agents. I worry about and I focus on controlling the controllables. And that's just what Maribel Juarez can control, right? Everything else I can't. If it's a friend and they're posting it, I'm like, oh, hey, congratulations, right? It's not my style personally. But that just means, especially if they're like a Latino realtor and they're out there helping the community, then fuck yeah, like that was 10 more families that we got into homes. And that means that we're increasing the amount of Hispanic home ownership, not just here in Texas, across the country. Like that's what it's about. Like it's about putting our people in homes. Like I can't tell you how much I wish my mom would have done it whenever I was a kid. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like we both grew up in a similar area. If my mom would have bought a house at $20,000 in 1995, I mean, what that lot would have been worth, what that could have done for her in her older age as she's retired now and stuff like this stuff really, they don't make sense of it now because it's new to them, to these first generation families that didn't know about buying a home. But it's going to make a difference to their kids. So I really don't put that much thought into it. It's not my style, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to chastise somebody because it's their style, because I also understand that they're using it as a marketing tool and they're using it as third party credibility, especially on social media, because here's what they're trying to convey. And they're trying to convey, hey, I helped 10 families this month. The next one could be you. And I'm telling you, hey, I've got the experience because I'm helping so many families. Like, I got you. And I get that they're trying to convey that. The message on our end looks a little distorted because we know that they're like, to us, to you, it might look boastful, right?
Well,
yeah. Okay. But to a consumer, their thought is, oh, like, especially when people are posting, like, I helped this family, I see representation. So I think that that's amazing. Like I said, there's room for us all, and we all have different styles. So a win is a win in my book.
That is an interesting, I guess, perspective. Right? I've never seen it that way, the way you're saying it. That you eloquently put it together.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But, I still have my opinion.
Hey, listen, can't teach an old dog new tricks.
We're in the same boat. I think Nate and I talk often that there was a lot of things that we probably should have bragged about or put on the internet that we just didn't. Yeah. Because it doesn't matter. I mean, even for me personally, in the day that we share so much, there's still so many videos, so many things for like family, events, business that I just keep to myself because I'm living in the moment, enjoying that, protecting that piece in there. I mean, one of my best years, I sold 109 units, and talk about helping families. I didn't do it to help families. I specifically did it because my sales manager at that time said I couldn't.
Wow. I'm realizing I'm not petty enough.
So I let him have it. I started my countdown from 100 down to 1. And he said, why would you start that? You're never going to hit 100 homes. I said, why not?
Oh,
I
watch
hit like
me, right?
58 like the year before, and I worked like 6 months. So I was like, I'm going to do that. And he's like, no, you're not. I said, okay, everyone over 100, you're going to come and write that one. So every Monday, I was excited to watch him write.
So let me ask you this. Why do you think that you didn't post it?
I just didn't.
Social media.
Like, do you think it? Listen, social media is a highlight reel. Not everybody sees. Yeah, he sold 100 homes, but I'm sure. Like, how much sleep were you getting?
None.
What did you have to sacrifice?
Everything.
Exactly.
All of it.
The year that I sold the most homes, I remember. I would call my friends, and man, I was up at 4 a.m. and I wasn't going to bed until 11, and I had a TC and a showing agent, right? My goal, I'm a single mom. So my goal, I was like, I want to do this as lean and mean as I can, because I want to keep as much money in my pocket, because I want to buy a home. I want to pay off debt. I'd just gotten divorced a few years ago. And I think if you're not married or divorced, you don't make money off of divorces. And I just remember kind of thinking like, oh shoot, man! I got on that train and then just got away. What was I talking about?
You're talking about when you were studying, you didn't have no time to be posting.
Oh yeah. So I would call, like, if a friend called me and we were catching up, I'd be like, man, like I'm just so tired, and they'd be like, oh my God, but you're making so much money. And I was like, man, money isn't everything. Like, I'd like to be happy at some point too. Yeah. But after that year was over, I definitely dialed it. I scaled back. I have kids. And so I was like, now money isn't so much. Now I want to get my time back. And so now I leverage for time. That's more important to me than the numbers.
I did that as a single 22, 23-year-old man. And I enjoyed a lot of great nights in Vegas, and I had a good time.
And that's good.
He neglected his health.
And I lived a great life, before I had my kids and my wife. And I'm so thankful for the opportunities that real estate has given me.
Yeah. So are we all. Right?
So you say you have a team, right?
So I had a team.
Oh, you don't have them right now?
I don't.
I thought you said you had
I
one.
don't. I did. So
how many were they?
8. I had a team of 8.
Wow, that's a pretty good size.
So I actually resonate with a lot of what you guys said, because I actually never wanted to have a team. People would say, hey, Maribel, are you going to open a brokerage? I was like, absolutely not. I don't want the responsibility. Like I'm like already, like I'm out here fighting for my life I have 3 kids, and I know what my bandwidth is. But what happened is that I had built a social media presence. And so I started getting people approach me, new agents who were like, hey, I'd like to learn from you. And hey, and can you mentor me? Well, I love teaching people. Like, I love teaching people. I probably would venture to say sometimes I like it more than real estate, because I think that it's rewarding when you get to see an agent who are like, man, they were at another brokerage and they were really struggling with something. And like, man, I helped them get their first deal, and I helped them with their processes. And so that turned into 1 agent, turned into 2, turned into 8. And then what I didn't know was going to happen was I started a team in 2022. I didn't know that like a few months later, it was going to interest rates were going to go up, and it was a major money suck. And then secondarily, I got into a personal lawsuit with my ex-husband. And that when you're dealing with all of these things in your life at a point in time, like if it was just one thing, then I think I probably could have taken it to the chin and kept going. But man, it was just a ton. And it was just me as a person running a team. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it, Nate. Like I didn't know how to grow. I didn't know what help I needed. Like at that point, I was actually at a rev share brokerage, not the one that I'm with now. Okay. Mm-hmm. I didn't have the guidance that I think that I needed. And so instead, what I decided to do after a year was I sat down with those agents and I said, hey, listen, I knew that I needed to like shed everyone and regroup. It's almost like when you're in an airplane, putting the mask on yourself. Yeah.
You put the mask on first.
Yeah, you damn right you do. And so I knew that I was like, I need to get back to what works for me. Right. And then let me see if I would revisit this under different conditions. And I sat down with every single agent because I cared about those agents. And I said, what is it that you want? Don't bullshit me. What do you want? Because you're telling me you want this, but you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to really need to go to a team who is structured more like this. And I had that with every single agent. I talked to every single one of those agents now, and they're happy and I love them and they're great. And that's all that I want. That's all I want for any agent, regardless of where they are.
But usually people who don't want to lead and don't want to be the team leader, those are usually the best ones.
You're so sweet. You're so kind.
No, it is true. It's true.
It was just the wrong timing. And everything in its time,
and I
right?
get that because sometimes you go through things and you know
of course
it is what it is, right? But realistically, I didn't want this type of brokerage.
But you know what? But isn't it? Things happen the way they should, Nate.
Yeah, but you see, the reason I didn't want it was because I knew that my dedication was going to have to be to the team leaders and the realtors, and that's why whenever you're telling me that story, right, I totally understand what you're saying, but where was your broker to help you through that time?
Well, and that's the thing. The thing is, man, I really don't want to throw anyone under the bus here.
You don't have to.
I know, but
it wasn't there, right?
So this is where, to your point, okay, and we're gonna speak fairly here, okay. To your point, this is where national brokerages fail.
Yes.
Okay, this is where they do fail. Okay.
He's looking it up.
Yeah, this is
do national.
So this is where they fail, is that they don't create community.
Yes.
They don't create it. They and so the difference with us is we're trying to create community and it be local. Okay. Now, are we perfect? Of course not. No one is, Nate. But we're trying. And we're trying to look out for the agent because we've been there and we know what it feels like to be like, yeah, I was at a big brokerage and I was surrounded by some heavy hitters and I was with a really, like a really great organization, but they weren't as accessible as I would have liked them to be. And so with my agents, they all, like literally earlier today, I was at the office, like putting out a fire with an agent who's at our brokerage. And because I don't want anybody to feel like they're left behind. I don't want anybody to feel like they don't have community. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's really kind of it. See a need, fill a need, Nate, and that's how the team came to be. And we're not a team, but we move and operate like one without the splits. Like without like I don't. This agent that was with me, who I helped her put up 2 listings and or whatever the case may be, like I'm not taking a split from her, whatever commission or whatever. I just want to make sure she's set, her clients are taken care of, and she can get repeat business from them.
So she's not in your downline.
She is in my network, but she's pretty far from it, Nate.
No.
She's pretty far from it. Where's that drink, guys? Where's that drink?
You passed it. I told you, hey, you need a drink. I got the bar back here.
But this is the community that we've created. So yes, of course.
No, that's good. And once again, right?
And this is what I'm saying. Like
I'm on the outside looking in, right?
Of course.
Just like you're on the outside looking in, and we can all be, respectful, hang out, be on the podcast. I would really like to have you back again on the Spanish one.
I'd be happy to have.
Yeah.
Do I still have tire marks on my back?
No. No. But you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
You're the first person that has given me a different perspective of your organization.
I appreciate that.
Because the people that they've sent at me to recruit me.
And see, that's the thing.
I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, what are you saying?
And I think, but here's the thing, like, we have no control over that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, don't give us the benefit of the doubt. We have no control over that. Mm-hmm. Like there's you get them too. Everyone gets them. Some rogue birds,
Yeah, definitely.
And we do our best to manage that. But sometimes you don't know that they're rogue until they're there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Sometimes you can see the crazy coming from a mile away, and you say no, thank you. Maybe not at this time.
And that's why we control our team leaders with aggression and with violence.
Oh, I can see that. So they don't leave, right?
No. So they don't walk around acting crazy.
Yeah. Hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, listen, it works for you guys. Don't break it. I mean, don't change anything if it works, for sure.
No, but I really did enjoy this conversation. And like I said, you gave me a different perspective. I'm not sure how Vic feels about it. He might join you guys. I don't know.
Yeah, great conversation. I think our values align, and I think I've been looking for community.
Oh, wow.
But you know what's funny, Vic, is that some of the things that were said, like they did align with what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And I remember I said, I even the person that was supposedly trying to recruit me, right, I was like, well, why don't you just do it yourself? why don't you just join us? Why don't you just be local? Why don't you just whatever, you know? And that person thought about it, you know, and I was like, oh, you know, well, you know, and I'm like, then,
and they should think about it. Well, wait a second,
yeah.
but they should think about it. Like before, see, here's the thing. Before any conversations are had, you need to be intentional about what is, again, we're talking about goals, right? What's the goal of that conversation?
Yeah.
Be intentional about that conversation and be prepared for that conversation. Treat it with respect because you guys aren't just anyone, right? So like have your ducks in a row before you have a conversation with you guys also. So just something to kind of take into consideration.
We're from North Side, so.
Well, we got to stick together. You know that, right? You can't throw me under the bus too hard because, you know what I'm saying? Because I know where your backyard is now.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
But yeah.
I think culturally we just share a lot of the same values in general. We want to take care of our people and take care of each other and have that sense of community. And honestly, for our brokerage, same thing. One of the biggest things, one of the first things that we like put our foot down and said we're not going to allow older experienced agents to take advantage of our younger agents and charge them fees for, you know, helping. If you're going to help because you're a good person. If not, then don't help. You know,
that's culture. That's so important. That's so important too. But do you know how fickle it is to maintain that kind of culture? Like, I mean, you almost have to, you've heard the expression like slow to hire and quick to fire. When you find something, when you find a bad apple, you got to get rid of them because it will literally permeate into your organization, any organization, and it could quickly turn. So I think that's great that you guys are really vigilant of that.
Yeah, definitely.
We're definitely super involved. We like
That's
to make sure
amazing.
that we know kind of what's going on, which is why, you know, our city,
Yeah,
our
it is,
neighborhoods,
but-
our area.
No,
know,
but
kinda
you
where
guys
we're
are
at.
in different cities as well because I saw on your social media you were in Argentina. Yeah, right?
Yeah, that place is great. We make a lot
You
of
know,
money.
I've
there.
never been there.
You ever want to go down there?
Hey,
I got a place for you there.
absolutely.
It's the most fun city.
It is.
Is it really?
Like unexpectedly fun.
It's like the.
And
Robbie.
I was
How's
like,
the real estate down there?
great.
It's great for
Oh,
retail.
well, I always see the houses and they look like amazing and they're like $2.
Yeah. They're so. And McAllen is when I was doing the research on McAllen, Nate was looking to get down there, and once again talking about family and community. One of our family members is our lead there, and that's why we went down there. You know, why we were so open to go down there. She didn't want to work for anyone else. She was like, y'all got to come down here. We'll figure it out. So I was doing research, and I'm like, man, the agent numbers aren't there. You know, the population numbers aren't there. You know, like it just doesn't really seem like, you know, like we
Like
can
it
go,
would make sense?
Yeah, we can go for nostalgic purposes. I think, you know, Nate's wife's from the area. I mean, surprisingly, my father's family, you know, general area as well. We have like we start realizing that like all of our families,
All
been,
our
like,
families down there,
from
yeah.
Oh, really?
yeah, and then like even when we go down there, like we have like extended family, like my grandmother's cousins and things that are calling us, like, oh, you know, we're related. You want to hang out, and you know, and it's fun. So, but looking at it on paper didn't make a lot of sense. But the amount of like Ferraris and Lamborghinis and crazy open house parties.
I was going to say, well, I mean, these houses. If we're talking openly about this, if you look at those homes,
Yeah.
Listen, I am not a genius, but even I can put together that if you look at, I mean, just the quality, how beautiful those homes are, and then take a look at like what's the job market there.
There's a lot of, and I know where
You
you're
know
going.
where I'm going
I know where
with
you're
this,
going
right?
with this, but I thought the same too, right? Because
Okay.
you know we come from North Side, and anybody who had a nice car, or you know, at a drug dealer, you know,
Yeah, for sure.
But down there's a lot of business because you're right at the border.
Okay.
You got to remember every single government agency is there. You know. The
Oh, okay. So then the personnel?
they're all there. So
Okay.
I mean, and they're funneling nonstop money to stop these people from jumping the border, which there's really not. freaking
No,
people
are you
jumping
kidding me?
the
Have you
border.
seen how people scale
Yeah,
those fences?
And so,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's-
when you're talking about just personnel in general, you look
Yeah.
at like the people that they're hiring there and how much overtime they get, what they're getting paid.
Oh,
what they're
really?
doing. Like a lot of these agents are getting paid really well, and you know you'll have like a whole family of like border control agents, and it's like
Yeah.
brothers,
Really?
cousins, friends, you know, and they're all
they're all
live there.
funneling money. So the restaurants are thriving. The mall. So
There's nothing to do.
The mall. They have taken that mall. It's called the Plaza Mall, right? That mall makes more money per square foot than any other mall in the world. That's what they say. Oh, sorry, in the United States. In the United
That's
States.
interesting.
So you could so any mall that you could find, that mall there, if you divide all the rent that they get from it, and you do the square footage, they get more money per square foot than any other mall in the United States. because it's always busy packed. Always busy packed.
I think there were it
Wow.
was like Mall of America was either in
Oh,
second
wait,
place.
but
or
let
they
me
were
ask
like-
you this: Do you think that that's also because you get like Mexican nationals
Yes.
who come over to shop as well?
Yes.
Oh, because
They
of the
shop,
proximity to the border.
They shop, they
That makes
invest.
sense.
There's actually people that like from Monterrey, they buy
Yeah.
houses there with pools.
Uh-huh.
And every time when they come into town to shop,
They'll
will
just stay there. No, I had a client who they had a condo on Post Oak, and they literally only used it when they came into town to shop
Yeah.
at the Galleria.
Yeah.
Like that's a whole other different level.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know this, but most of the houses in River Oaks, like the older homes, a lot of them are tied up in trusts and in inheritances and stuff like that. And there's actually families that own them that don't even live there.
That's crazy.
And they just use them for entertainment or to come in and just to, I guess show off that they have a house in River Oaks. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
So back to McAllen there. There's a lot of
Reeling it back.
there's a lot of opportunity there for sure. You realize how much commerce there is between the United States and Mexico. there.
What's the agent count down there?
There's like 900 agents.
That's it? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but they're making a lot of money. A lot of money.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
They work. There's a lot of agents. I
How,
mean,
how many people are there in
It was like 44,000.
144,000 in the greater McAllen
Are
area.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's not that many people.
No, we flew in. One of my friends is a pilot, and I asked them to take us down there, and we flew down there. And I was telling Nate, I had never really paid attention to it, but like
Yeah.
when you're driving from the airport, it tells you like population sign. I was like, it feels like way more than
Yeah.
You know.
144. Yeah.
It feels like
Yeah.
way more.
you got to multiply that by 10 at least.
Yeah. I don't know how accurate those numbers are.
I think what I like about that place is that everything is like 10, 15 minutes away.
Really?
Yeah. Like
Oh, I guess because it's not that big, right?
It's like, okay.
Not
you're-
like Houston, that's like
yeah.
an hour away from
Well,
Houston.
but back to my point, there's 144,000 I think right there in McAllen, but then you have like all the other little cities that are
Edinburgh,
around
yeah,
Edinburgh,
Mission,
like,
Oh,
and then I
okay,
think like
okay.
greater
So it's like a
McAllen
cluster.
area.
So that's why it's called RGV. It's the Rio Grande
Grande
Valley
Valley.
area.
Yeah.
So it's like HAR, Houston area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you do the RGV, then yeah, you do get into like the million or whatever people.
I just don't have family down there. My family's all from like
Really?
Monterrey. Yeah, Monterrey and Nuevo Laredo.
There's a lot of people from Monterrey in McAllen.
And really?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. Those are the
lots of-
people those are all the business owners.
That's
All the
crazy.
business
I didn't know
owners.
that.
Yeah, club owners.
I didn't know that.
A lot of them want to come up here and build.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised there isn't more of a presence in the Woodlands.
They
Th-
prefer
that's
San
Mex-
Antonio.
yeah, that's
they
Mexico
prefer
City.
San Antonio.
Oh.
From my understanding, McAllen prefers San Antonio.
They
over,
love
over
San Antonio.
Tucson.
Oh, okay.
They love San Antonio.
Okay.
Yeah.
They go
Okay.
more that way.
That's what, and actually it's closer.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
I
San
don't
Antonio,
think I did either.
San Antonio is closer to them. I didn't know that.
I just know RGV is really far, but
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's not that far if it's only a few hours from
5 from here.
from here
Yeah.
and,
it's-
and like what
it's
2
like-
from San
it's like
Antonio?
No,
Three.
like 3.
3? Okay.
When I went we were going to Monterrey for Nate's son's proposal. I did the
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank
like
you.
drive to Monterrey, and my brother goes to Monterrey often, and he always goes through San Antonio, and he's like, oh, I'm on my way to Monterrey, but I seen him in San Antonio. I'm like, this dude's not going there. But I never like watch his location or whatever to see how he actually goes.
Yeah.
But when I did the map, it was taking me to San Antonio and then a straight shot to Monterrey. Like that's the recommended
Really?
route.
Dang, I
that's-
didn't
that's
even
the
know
route to
that. I
Monterrey.
didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was like, wow. And it's like a straight line almost. It's kind of crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Like on I-10?
No,
No.
down. You're going
Up?
down
I
south.
I don't know.
I don't know what it
It's
is,
I'm
30
like,
but-
I
think it's
I
35.
actually haven't been to Monterrey in a long time. I need to go. I'm long overdue.
It's
Well,
so
but
nice.
I stopped going when it started getting scary, and I have older family members there, and like there was a point of time, maybe like 20 years ago, because it's been that long, where
That-
like
yeah.
if you stood out, then they'd be ransoming your grandpa, and they'd be like, "Hey, we know you have family," and I just didn't want those problems.
Yeah.
No, everything's changed.
Oh, has it really?
Yeah. I mean, my daughter flies in by herself and hangs out with her friends and goes
Oh,
to
that's
concerts.
good. Okay, all right. Well, then I guess I'll
Yeah, it's
definitely
really different.
maybe I should go see them.
But what I was surprised is that people see me over there, and I just found out that the Caucasian, right? He wants to open up a chiropractor business over there because they have soccer, right?
Yeah.
But they have a football team they want to take there because they love football,
Really?
American football.
Oh, they like American
Yeah.
football?
Yeah,
They
love
love American football.
That's weird to me. I mean, they've even come down. But my doctor over there,
Yeah.
he came down to see the Texans. He was so, like, oh my
Excited.
god, he was so excited to see them. And his son
That's
has
crazy.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of people here. They go there for business. like manufacturing businesses and stuff like that. You know, Tesla was supposed to be there and they pulled out, and Volvo took their spot.
They pulled out. You know, that's interesting. I didn't even look into it because there's this one builder I was thinking about buying and building in Monterrey and just Airbnbing it while I wasn't there. Because Tesla was going to be building a factory there, but I just never looked into it.
Well,
but Mexico is going to be the next stop for me. We're going to be getting like a family compound just to have, you know.
You should.
Absolutely.
That's what Vic's doing.
Yeah.
Well,
I
Are
wish,
you really?
I wish
Which
Jovani
part?
was here.
Vic already has a compound, but he doesn't want to be there. It's too far from the border.
Where,
Yeah.
where? If you don't mind me asking.
We have family in Mexico City.
Oh,
and
okay.
My grandfather, we have a pretty big house there, but it's actually a far drive from the airport. So I was just talking to my grandfather about it. He's wanting to move to a different area, and I was like, it literally doesn't matter to
Yeah.
me. You're far from the airport anyway. Wherever you go, like let's just go. Let's make the move. But he was in Mexico City, and you know, he just had a lot of property throughout his life. And I always say, you know, like taking advantage of older people. Not that they took advantage of him. My grandfather is smart enough to handle it, but. You just sell off your prime real estate first because it's the easiest to sell when you need money.
Yeah.
So like now he's closer to the end of his life and he has houses in the rougher areas and that's where he's staying. I'm like, hey,
You might want to move from there.
Yeah. But I definitely think we're way past our time.
I'm so sorry to keep you guys going. No.
Yeah. So
I'm regrowing my beard and I'm getting itchy.
Oh.
if you want to do a hard exit again, just say who you are.
Do I have to? Can you
Yeah.
guys just cut it? It keeps going.
Yeah, it keeps going. So you got a hard exit. But what I want you to do is I want you to say your name, who you're with, what you do, and where we can find you on social media.
Okay.
Go for it.
So my name is Maribel Juarez. I am a local realtor. I'm one of the leaders at the collective with ROA. And you can find me on Instagram at Maribel Juarez Realtor and on Facebook as Maribel Juarez. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for coming at so short notice. She literally... I called her, at 3? Or?
You know, I actually was trying to help you fill the seat.
Yes, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. We had a cancellation last minute, and it was like, oh my God. I wish you got here earlier so you could have done the Spanish one.
I'm so sorry.
So I want you to come back and do the Spanish.
I would love to. I would love to.
And we'll give you another round of English.
Okay, we'll do that. I'm happy to do it.
And this time I'm going to be ready for you because, you know, you...
I don't know. Please don't do your research.
She said, give me the topics before you.
Let me see. Give me the breakdown. What am I going into?
We'll see you later.